I see that Tasha is there. Tasha, if you can hear me, say, I can hear you. If you can't hear me, say, I can't hear you. Well, actually, don't say it, but just type it in. I'm talking a little low. I don't know how I'm going to get used to doing a Wednesday night after working all day. Actually, I'm just kind of chit-chatting right now. I enabled a feature last week that I kind of sort of forgot to turn off. Oh, that's good. She says she can hear me. I kind of forgot to turn it off. That when I arm my go live, it just goes live. So I want it to arm to be like on 7 minutes, but then it just came on. So instead of just leaving dead air with me moving around in the background, I thought I would just talk to do a pre-sound check. So I'm not actually going on for about 5 more minutes. And my technician says, I can hear you. Well, that's good to know. Thank you. But I'm not on. I'm just kind of on. I guess this would bother me when I hear other people, like, supposed to be on, and then they have you waiting. And they'll be saying stuff like, I'm just going to wait for some more people to show up. It's like, wait a minute. So I got here on time or early to wait for you to wait for somebody? Well, that's just me, though. I would never say it to anybody because then it wouldn't sound good. Sometimes I care about what it sounds like. So that's not what I'm doing. I've just got to disable that feature. All right. Tasha says talking is good. That means I don't have to yell like this. Is that what you're saying? Because I'm looking at my meters and they are definitely going in the red. So I won't talk like this unless I get excited. Otherwise, I'll just talk like this and just kind of be cool. Keep it mellow. You know what I'm going to do, though? I think I am going to arm my opener just to see what happens in like 2 more minutes. Let me type in like I do on, what you call it, Nate? Let's see, 3 minutes. Now, here's what happened today. Well, let me just send my first caller to get ready. Well, I don't have much time. Looks like I've got 4 or 5 people here. Just know that I'm not starting. I just kind of started without starting. Deal with it. Thank you. If it ain't one thing, it's another. That was Richard Dimples Fields back in what, 83 or something like that? If it ain't one thing. Loo. All right. Here we go. I'm going to send this signal as if the show is coming on. I have no idea where the audio is. So it'll just kind of go through the motion. And if I don't see anything. Okay, Tasha, this is what I want you to do. When I start this intro, let me know if you can hear it. Just text it in. If you can't hear it. What did she say? Please don't sing. Let me know if you can hear the audio when I start this trigger. Okay, I'm going to go in a couple of seconds. If you don't hear the audio, I'll just keep talking and just roll into the show. These are all what they would call in the business pilots. So, as much as I want to be mindful of sounding cool and being politically correct with everything I do and say, I'm just going to pass up on that and just be all right. Okay, here comes the signal. Let me know if you hear it.
Music is a vehicle that
No,
can
I know
take
you're
you
not.
anywhere you want to
Let me
go.
tell you how I know you're not here.
Anytime you want to be there.
Because I don't see the levels.
No
going.
matter what you
So
do,
I'm just gonna
why
let that
you
play
do it,
through as if I'm
who you
coming
choose
on.
to do it with or
And
for.
this will be replaced
Music
by
will
this
ensure that the
Swym
moment is
Pwym.
always just right.
Wait, you can hear that?
The saxophone is the luxury sports model of all vehicles that insists that you experience the ultimate groove that sets the mood for whatever you choose.
Are you saying you can hear the audio from the commercial?
Mighty Horn Music presents the COVID Concert Series with saxophonist Travis Bridges.
Okay.
Live from the Hollywood Home Studio. Smooth jazz, top 40, R&B, inspirationals, and more. Thank you for tuning in. You are now on a musical first-class journey to anywhere you want to be.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's hoping you had a wonderful Wednesday, a Tuesday, and a Monday, because last I left you on Sunday, you seemed to be doing pretty good. So, thank you for hanging out with me again on a Wednesday for another edition of Swym Pwym. What is Swym Pwym? Swym Pwym is say what you mean and play what you mean. We're talking. Why are we talking? Because we want to get clarity on what we're actually saying, what we're hearing, what we mean, what we intend, what someone else may hear, or what they may think. Because that's a lot of lines to be going back and forth, and they often get twisted. Ask me how I know. For a good part of my life, I've had conversations with quite a few different people in different arenas, and they didn't hear what I said. I heard what they said, but then I don't think it was what they meant. Because when I explained back what I thought I heard, then they were like, well, no, that's not what I meant. And before you know it, we got this kind of face going on, and this kind of face going on, and that kind of face going on. And before you know it, phones are hung up, and doors are slammed, and people got attitudes. I may have even left a black eye or two. Well, it could happen. I'm just saying that, but that's not the case. So, I do have a guest lined up, and I'm going to tell you about my guest once I get my first caller on the line, which is not necessarily a guest, but like my sidekick, so to speak. So, I'm going to try to figure this out and get my sidekick on the phone. And, wow, I don't want to hide that. Look at me out here. Oh, here it is. So I'm going to dial up this number and see what happens. Okay, Tasha, what you need to do is let me know.
Hello.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey.
How are you, sir?
Wonderful. I need to hear from my technician and my monitor here if they can hear you good. So before we go, they're going to let me know if you're too loud or not loud enough. So I need you to talk. Say something. How's your day?
What's going on, Travis? My day is okay. Today was my nephew's 14th birthday. I can't believe the boy is 14.
What?
So, yes, Jamar turned 14 today. So I actually just walked in the door of his house for dinner and cake and birthday stuff,
Mm-hmm. So you playing Big Auntie?
Yes.
That's what's up. That's
As
what's
always.
up. Do me a favor and tell Jamar I said happy birthday, and tell him I've got him I have another bag of money for him.
Oh, he would love that.
Or just let him know.
I sure will.
We have a deal, and I'm gonna make good on mine because you know me. I do's what I says.
Yes, this is true.
Anyway, yeah. What else is going on?
He'll be very excited. I'll let him know.
Okay, I need my monitor to let me know if they can hear you okay. I guess they can. I'm looking at levels too. I've got to learn how to read my devices here to make sure that I can hear and see what I'm hearing and seeing. Oh yeah, I got a yes over here. Okay, so I was reading one of my friends, Facebook friends' message today, and she said something interesting. I'm going to find her post,
Okay.
and I'm going to tell you about the post, and I'm going to tell you about the tentative guest that I have that's supposed to be coming on. Because you know how people do, they'll say something and then do something else. Now, I'm not saying this about my guest, but if that's the case, we'll find out and maybe even prove my point even further. So, let me just
Okay.
let me try to pull this up. I promise you I'm going to tighten this up.
I know you will.
You know I will. Listen, you know me, right? I told my audience that these were just pilots. Hey, Kim. Kim said you can hear both. Thank you. All right. So now, why am I not? Oh, yeah. There we go. So let's see if I can find her post. And then I'm going to read it. And I'm probably going to... oh, gosh. I've got to do it like this. Thank y'all for being patient. I promise you I'm going to... anyway, I won't keep saying it. I'll just do it. In the meantime, just be patient. There's this song that used to go, please be patient with me. And then the choir would say, God is not through with me yet. Okay, so here's what our post says. It says, you ready for this?
I am.
Woo, this is going to be a funky one. I can smell it now.
You got me nervous.
Don't be nervous. Oh, we don't do that around here. This is going to be, I guess, what would be, for lack of a better word, a topic. And it goes like this. If your partner said that you were no longer if your partner said that they were no longer attracted to you and asked you to lose 50 pounds to improve the relationship, would you do it? So, different people responded. And of course, this is from my friend, and this is one of those that I could not pass up. So, I commented.
I can't wait to hear. What did you say?
Well, let me find it. I've got to scroll through. My assistant is off this week, so I would normally have this all typed up and ready, like how real producers and editors do for the talk show hosts. But since I'm doing it all myself, I'm going to be just a little slow. So my initial response was to the question, yes, I'd lose the 50 pounds. And then I'd leave. Because, I had to tell the truth, and then I had to make a joke out of it. So I said, yes, I'd lose the 50 pounds, and then I would leave. And then there were a few other comments. So I also made a comment that said, why are people upset with someone who's just telling the truth, though? And then I got a response that said, truth sometimes hurt people, and they will react with the first emotion. And when someone days that are not attracted to, someone says, that's what typos. She says, when someone says they're not attracted to you, it cuts deep. Then I said, to be bold and honest is not so bad. Sometimes we have to work on how we respond to the truth. Shooting the messenger is not cool. You following me, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then she says, now you need to know, you need to speak the truth in love. So that was between her and me. This is the actual author of that. So now this is my next guest. This is what my guest said. And the guest said, if he stated that he's no longer attracted to you, then what would be the purpose of losing the 50 pounds? Once a man's interest is gone, there's nothing that you, need to do to make him interested again? There shouldn't be a stipulation of weight loss to keep someone that obviously doesn't want to be kept. Losing weight is a self-esteem factor, period. And I was all on my lunch break when I was doing this, so I'm just letting you know. So I responded again. I said to her, don't take it out of context. When the man said he wasn't attracted anymore, didn't mean he didn't love her. However, 50 pounds is a lot to be having to deal with for anyone. And then I said, like, no, like you don't agree with that? And then here's what she says. She says, in sickness and in health, that's what's included in the vows for a reason. 50 pounds can easily be gained due to pregnancy or other health issues. If you love someone, you love them regardless. Who you offend, would you offend your mother, sister, aunt by telling them they're too big to love? No, you wouldn't, because you wouldn't want them to be hurt. If you love someone, show them you love them and show them that you and love them through it. So, of course, I responded again, and I said, I'm not sleeping with my mother or my sister, and I don't have the same type of love for my mother as I would have with a significant other. And then I said, just like you can gain 50 pounds from pregnancy, you can lose it from the gym and a diet. And then I said no, as to say, no. So then by this time it started getting back and forth, and my lunch break was almost up, so I had to go. So I just inboxed her and I said, hey, would you be on my live stream tonight? It's just about talking. I'd like to, get your input. I think we'll have some fun. And she said, of course. So we exchanged numbers over the text message, and I told her to be ready between 9 and 10 o'clock, and I would call her. So about a half hour before, my live stream started, I just dialed her number just to check. It was a Google number. She didn't answer. And now I'm thinking, I might not have a guest. But if I don't, that'll be cool. Well, it won't be cool. It just wouldn't be what I thought. So I want to get your take on any and or all of that before I go to, the other guest, if I have one. So go ahead.
Well, I can understand both perspectives, yours as well as hers.
Wait a minute. Stop for a second. Did I have a perspective, or did I just respond? What is my perspective? I'm not sure I have a perspective, or I don't think I announced a perspective.
Well, I agree. I can see where someone would agree with both. What she said.
No. Answer my question though. Did I give the impression that I have a perspective? Because I don't think I have yet.
No, maybe I used the wrong word. Okay, no.
Well, not the wrong word. I'm just trying to be clear. So, do I have a perspective or not?
I'm sorry. Say it again.
So, do I have a perspective or not?
No, you don't have a perspective. I meant your response to the question that she asked.
Okay, got it. So, go ahead. You can go ahead. Continue.
I actually, and this might sound funny, but I actually agree with you. And I say that sounds funny because, we don't agree on things most of the time.
We weren't going to tell our audience that, but go ahead. That's between you and me. Or what she's trying to say, y'all. Wait, hold on a second. Let me just tell them. What she's trying to say is, although she's my friend, she's never on my side. That's what she's trying to say. But anyway, go ahead. We won't linger on
whatever.
That. Go ahead.
I would want somebody to tell me, no matter how much it hurts, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that if they didn't tell me and they acted on their feelings of this unattractiveness, that will hurt even more.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm in a relationship with somebody and we are in love, they should be able to tell me how they're feeling or what they feel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I may then lose the 50 pounds and then leave because I might be side-eyeing their character.
So you mean you might get in your feelings? Wait, hold on a second. So then what you're saying?
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Let me jump in. So what you're saying is, although you would want them to be honest, and if they are being honest, you'll be in your feelings and then leave. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
I'm saying that can be a very a possibility, yes.
Anyway, go ahead.
Because I would be questioning why they didn't just love me for who I am. But I can understand how they could lose.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
All day long. I know.
Slow down. Slow down. Nobody said they didn't love anybody. They said they were not.
I understand.
So when you said,
I got
you got what?
That's right. They did. Nobody said about not loving.
But you just said they should have loved me. So you would be gone because you think they don't love you, and that's no one ever said they didn't love anybody. They just said, okay, they're not as attractive. You know, like when I bought my new truck 15 years ago, oh, I didn't let a scratch get on it. But 15 years later, I still love the truck, but you know, it just doesn't. It's not the same truck. I don't love it any less. But guess what? If I could get a nice paint job on it and fix everything that's busted and broke and don't work and taped up and you know, rigged up on it, then maybe you get where I'm going. So I still love the truck.
I do get where you're going, but I think that humans is slightly different than something material. But I get what you're saying.
Okay, back to your point. You said you would leave.
My point is that could possibly happen.
What? You would lose the weight and
I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm not saying that I could stay, or maybe we have a whole new relationship because now I'm happier because I'm thinner and more feeling better about my own self. So it could possibly rejuvenate this whole relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's others, but I'm saying that it could possibly not. So I don't know. But what I can say from the very beginning, from the first question was, will I be upset, or can a partner have that conversation with their partner? And I believe they should be able to 100%. Because that's real. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
It happens all the time. And they should be able to communicate that with each other, saying, you know what, honey, I love you. But I feel like I'm losing my attractiveness to you because of the weight gain. Now, if they also have had some changes.
Which not if they have. They definitely have. So let's go ahead and tell it. They definitely have had some changes. Maybe the changes to the other person may not matter. Maybe it may. So you can't compare and say, okay, because they definitely, everybody changes. Some people get 50-pound changes. Some people get, different kinds of changes, I used to have hair.
Or maybe some of their beliefs change.
Yeah, and there's some gray in here that that's another story though. Did I just tell on myself? Anyway, go ahead.
So it can be physical or it could be non-physical, but you're absolutely right. All of us do changes. We don't stay the same. So, from a physical standpoint, that's what we're talking about in this conversation. Then I'm going to say that I truly believe that they should be able to have that conversation.
So I want to read something. Hold on real quick. And I don't want to cut you off, but I did anyway. But Robin says, I agree. You love unconditionally as stated today in a relation. Today, a relationship is a commitment. Work it out. So yeah, now this is another person. She's now saying, this is my sister Robin, by the way. She says, agree to love. Nobody didn't say they didn't love somebody. Just because you're not as attracted, he was blunt in saying he's unattractive, doesn't mean he doesn't love. So I'm going to kind of just mark what she said off. Not, it's just like, okay, that doesn't apply. Because you love your dog when he poops on the floor. But it's not attractive to you. So we're going to scratch that comment, Robin.
Because they're saying love, but I guess
love covers. Hold on.
You can work it out.
Wait. Well, yeah, you can. But what do you do with? Okay. Well, that's why we're talking about it. So anyway, I want to address something else the other person said, and then I'm going to let you go and try to get her on the phone, and then I'll probably be winging it by myself. By the way, before I do that, if you're watching, listening, paying attention, and you'd like to talk or share a scenario with me, I'd appreciate it. Just send me an email to Travis Bridges in the number 2 at AOL.com. In the subject, put call me, and then in the body of your email, just put your phone number, and then tell me what you either want to talk about, tell the scenario, and then we'll work it out and I'll call. For some reason, I've got a bee in my bonnet, and I think I can listen and analyze circumstances without my thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Personal thoughts anyway. I've got to have some thoughts. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking it to the internet, taking it on the road, so to speak, and just hoping that somebody may listen to me. And if they do, fine. If they don't, I'll at least get to talk. And that's what it's about. We have to have self-therapy sometimes. So that's what we're doing right now. That's what this is about. That's what this live stream is about. Swym, Pwym, say what you mean, play what you mean, say what you mean. With that being said, I want to address something before you go, and thank you again for being on with me. You know I appreciate you, right?
Absolutely, I know.
Okay, so she said something about, would you offend your mother, sister, aunt by telling them they're too big to love? Nobody said you're too big to love. That's not what is being, addressed. That's not what is being, I'm sure whoever did this, whether it's a man or a woman, so I'm saying, it's a woman because that's the first thing the response person did. They said her, so I'm just going with it. But this could be a man or a woman because, men pick up weight the same way. So if the person is, talking that, it has nothing to do with not loving them. They've got to express themselves. So
I agree with that. You're right.
When this person starts talking about your sister or your mother or your aunt, how in the name of bejesus is that even possible to try to compare? You can't do that. You can't say, well, you wouldn't tell your mother. I'm exaggerating a little bit. Your sister. I mean, come on. I'm not in love with my sister or my mother. I'm not. It's not that. So you can't use something like that and try to have an arguing point. But people do it. That's why we talk about it. So I'm not going to be dismissing anything. Our monk says I would lose the weight not for them, but for me to be healthier and happier. Well, then now I'm going to address her. This ain't about you as much as it's about you and him. So if you would lose the weight, you would do it selfishly in a sense, just so that you can be healthier, and not that you wouldn't benefit from it anyway. But somebody brought something to your attention, and so then you would then not do it for them or for the relationship. You then turn it over and then do it for your own health. I'm not going to scratch that, but maybe I could argue with her about it. But why? I'm not going to do that. Anyway, so you get my point in saying that, she brought up talking about comparing your sister and your aunt to a significant other. So, no, I would love someone regardless, but when I would gain and lose weight like I've often done, I would hope that somebody would say, yeah, buddy, my pants say it all the time. My pants say, go somewhere and sit down. So I really don't need anybody to tell me. But, occasionally I've asked some close friends of mine and family to say, hey, listen, tell me, do I look fat in this shirt?
Can I ask you a question?
No! Yeah, go ahead.
If I wanted to look at it from a different angle, and not necessarily I think it applies the same, but let me get your thoughts. So let's say in this same relationship, one of the people was a how am I calling it? A hybrid earner, right? Let's say they were very successful, earning a lot of money.
You mean like me?
Financially, right?
Like me.
Exactly. Okay. And then something changed. They got laid off. They got fired. They got disabled. I don't know.
Right.
So something changed, and they're no longer. So now the livelihood that the person had before is no longer there. Do you stay or do you go?
You asking me that?
Well, yeah.
Well,
it's kind of the same thing. It's just not weight.
Well, see, that's the point I'm going to get into way down the road. You're way ahead of me. But if you're asking me that question, for the sake of, being respectful to your question, I would say yes. I think I would stay. You know, if I'm committed to someone, I believe I would. Especially knowing what I know now. There may have been a time in my life when I didn't understand the true meaning of commitment, and I didn't know what I know now. So I would say, you know, knowing what I know now, and you know, knowing what I know, getting involved in a commitment, I think I would stay even if there was 50 pounds added. It doesn't mean I wouldn't say, hey, listen, let's go to the gym, or you know, how about some lettuce? You know,
Right? Can we do this together?
yeah, I would
I
do.
think
I
it was
would
one
do
of those
something.
movies.
Yeah, I know
I
one of those
believe it was with,
Tyler
you know, when
Perry
it was like
movies.
Jill Scott was wearing a waistcoat and the
Yeah,
guy didn't like
that.
her, and then she started dating this other guy and she lost all the weight, and the guy was like, "What
Oh
happened to
yeah.
you?" And she's like, "We just did it together." So that's what I'm saying. If someone came to me and said, "You know what, Melanie, I really need you to lose some weight. What can we do together to get that accomplished for both of us? Because it's a benefit for both of us, right?"
So to
I
answer your
don't have a
question, yeah,
problem with that.
that would probably be my response. You know. So yeah.
But I think
Anyway,
that people have to be realistic and true that this does happen.
it definitely does.
And to say just love me anyway is not really fair.
Right.
So
Robin again says love is everything in a relationship, whether it's the person you're dating, maybe a friend or a spouse. Why disconnect relationship because of weight? Again, nobody's disconnecting anything. They're just saying, "Hey, listen, let's go get a treadmill and blow it up." So anyway, I'm waiting for something to respond to. I don't have it quite yet. But anyway, I'm gonna try to let you go, and I'm gonna call my
okay.
guest first because if my guest, because for some reason, I mean, I'm not doubting, um, but
What is the Google phone number? What is that?
a Google phone number is a phone number that people use when they really don't want to, you know, give their real information out. Something that they don't pay attention to. They only look at it whenever they are expecting something or want to see what's. It's like I call it a trap number. It's like when you put traps
Well, how do
out
you know when you call that is a trap number or a Google number? Does it
because
tell you?
well, it won't tell you, but there's indications that let you know. It'll say, "Please hold while your subscriber is. We're looking for him or something," and then it'll say, "Please caller, state your name." And then you'll say, okay, this is Jerome. And then the person say, oh, Lord, that was Jerome. No. And then you don't have to answer. But, you know, regular phone, it doesn't do that unless you have that special service. But you can tell it's a Google phone. If you have a Google phone, like I do, you know, and I use I call it my studio line. It's my Google line for when I make calls. So here's what I'm going to do.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I
Yeah,
really didn't know, so I appreciate the lesson.
no problem. You know how we do. Um, how much time do you have? Because I don't want to let you go if my caller's not going to be there. We can keep talking because I want to tell you about something else. Something else that happened that I thought was real funny. So I'm going to see if she's going to answer. And then if she does, then you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you sailing because I don't need
Please
you no
state your
more.
name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to connect you.
Travis Bridges from Swym, Pwym, and Mighty Horn Music. Ooh, it's ringing. Maybe I'll get both of y'all for a moment. Come on, lady, answer. I told you. I thought I had a bad feeling about this. Cheer up, my brother. So you know what I'm gonna hear now. I hope it doesn't come on.
Hello.
Oh, don't say your name. I'm not supposed to say her name. So now I don't get the call that was promised to me. So now can I just have a moment? Can I vent?
Absolutely.
Okay, now I have a little attitude because I found out, you know, about myself. It's like I think I was neglected so much. Not so much, but I guess one of my traumas, because I didn't have a bad childhood. I just had some traumas. I don't like to be disappointed. I don't like to be told no. I don't like for people to tell me something and then don't do it. It drives me crazy. But I'm gonna have to get over it right now. I've got to be a big boy. I can't kick in because we got company, so I can't talk bad about it. So let's continue the conversation. Let's see if anybody's. No, Robin didn't say anything different. Anyway, I want to tell you another scenario. We're going to leave that one for alone unless you want to get on it some more.
No, let's go ahead.
Okay, so
Tell me.
I shared this with my niece earlier. Let me find it. Oh, come on, man. Oh, yeah. So, this is another thing about that gaining weight thing. Why is it that if you losing weight, because see, I was talking to one of my relatives tonight, and this is where I got this information from. And one of my relatives said, "Yo, man, I saw you on a video. Looked like you've been losing some weight." I said, "Well, I've been doing some things different. I'm always a roller coaster, so I'm trying to go, uphill now. So I said, yeah. I did drop a couple of pounds, and I don't think I lost weight. I just got healthier." And he was like, "Yeah, cool, man, that's good." And I said, "I'm going to ask you a question. Why didn't you notice when I was picking up the weight? Why didn't you say anything?" So why is that? Why do people compliment you when you lose weight, but when you pick up weight, they won't tell you? Can you answer that for me, please?
Because I think people think they'll be hurting your feelings. And that's where it comes down. Nobody wants to say they haven't seen a person in a year and be like, and you could noticeably tell that a person has gained significantly weight. Girl, you gained some weight. You eating too much bread or whatever, But
leave them sodas alone, child.
and I've done that. Like there's been two friends that
no more seconds for you.
And I would say one of them, I picked him up. He got in the car. We were going to dinner. I hadn't seen him in a while. He had significantly gained some weight. When I say significantly, let's say he gained 30 pounds, right?
Yeah, that's
he was a smaller guy, so 30 pounds was a difference. As soon as he got in the car, I said to him, "Boy, you like you been eating some bread."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I sure have." Mm-hmm. And we just laughed about it, and that was the end of it. That was me saying, "I noticed you've gotten bigger," right?
Uh-huh.
And he was like, "Girl, you sure right," And that was the end of the conversation. But I don't know if I would say that. He's a really good friend of mine. Like we have a really good relationship, and I know that he wouldn't take no kind of weight. That it's just a true fact. It was real. It is what it is. But some people would not find, they would be insulted. I don't know why, or because we all know what we know, But some people don't want to have that conversation. But they don't even want to have it with their doctors, even though they will, because the doctors would say, "Last time you were here, you were 20 pounds lighter. You done gained 20 pounds. Is this COVID or whatever?" But they don't want to have that conversation with their friends and family for the most part. And
right.
people don't want to hurt people's feelings. I think that's just what it boils down to. They feel like people will be insulted, and they don't want to talk about it maybe. Or unless they brought it up and said, "Girl, you know what? I can't fit another, I had to go get some new clothes because I can't fit my old clothes."
Mm-hmm.
And they may not feel comfortable enough to have that conversation with it, or some of your significant friends might, But I think people don't, even though they see it happening,
mm-hmm.
and they don't see it happening the way you see it happening. It is two different visuals going on, right? It's not
right.
equal. But they're just not going to say something. But aren't we happy that they do say something when they notice? Because again, that visual coming downhill is totally different too.
Right.
So it's really nice when people say, "You're looking good," or "You look thinner," or whatever they might say. Because it does make you feel good, especially if you're in the midst of doing something and working on it, and it actually is happening.
Right.
Just the other day, my girlfriend got in the car, and she said, "Do you know that I'm bigger than I was when you met me 20 years ago?" And I said to her, "Nope." Never crossed my mind. She said, "I absolutely am bigger than I was 20 years ago." She said, "But I can tell you are not. You are definitely smaller than you were 20 years ago." And I said, "Oh, okay." And I don't know where that came from. I don't know. She just got in the car, and that was the first thing, maybe something that triggered that she was thinking about or what have you. But she told me that she was significantly bigger than she was, but maybe just my memory, or I don't know. I just didn't even think about that. And then when she told me, I still didn't register. I said, well, you seem the same size to me, you know. But she noticed that I am definitely, I know I am smaller than I was 20 years ago. So that was nice that's the case, because normally as we get older, we're going the other way, right?
I'm not claiming that. Not me.
I know, right? I know.
Not my
I
mama's son. No, sir.
I agree with you. But to answer your question, even though I did a long way around it, people are just not going to do that because they don't want to offend.
Yeah, I knew that. It was hypothetical. I'm going to answer something that our monk just said in a second. But before I do, if you're watching, if you're listening, this is Swym, Pwym. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. We're talking. What are we talking about? Whatever you want to talk about. We're just bringing awareness to how we hear, how we listen, how we process what we're hearing. It's what we're hearing, what someone is actually saying. All of that and then some. That's what it's about. The subject doesn't matter, because when someone will say, what are you talking about? Occasionally I'll have some topics, and that's fine, but it doesn't matter. You can just be talking about anything. It's important to get an understanding. Even the Bible says that. So I've tapped into that, and I think I have some natural gifts in regards to listening, hearing, and paying attention, and even analyzing. So I'm just taking the show on the road by sharing it. So here's what I have a guest that says, not a guest, but Tasha. She says, yes, I'm doing it for me. My happiness is priority, and losing it solely for him would be doing it for the wrong reasons. Okay, I'm just going to try to address that real quick. The initial reason you would be doing it is because he brought it to your attention. For you to put yourself priority over the motivation might get cloudy. If your significant other brought that to your attention, and then you decided, okay, I'm going to do it for me, of course you're going to do it for you. But I think maybe doing it for you will be the engine, but the transmission should be for what was, not so much requested, but brought to your attention. Because if you do it for it, anyway, I'm not even going to get in that. That's it. If you want to fight, let me know. We'll fight, and I'll make my point. But, for you to even add yourself into the response, it might be going off the path a little bit. But I get your point, and it's good. You should do it for yourself. But a different show, as Oprah would say. Anyway, yeah, back to the point. I was going to change the subject a little bit. I was talking to one of my relatives tonight, and he was talking about he was going to go somewhere with his daughters and his wife, but he didn't go because he had to work. And because I always bust his chops, I was like, oh yeah, well, people always put their jobs in front of their family. So I was just messing with him. He said, no, what are you talking about? No, I would never put I said, I wasn't talking about you. Oh yeah, I was just, I know. So then he started to explain about how he would never put a job or his job in front of his family under any circumstances. And he kind of made that a big deal. Although I wasn't talking about him specifically, I was indirectly talking about, what he told me, just busting his chops, because it's just what we do. And you know how I am. I'll tap him on the shoulder just to see if he's paying attention. But when the point I'm making, I said all that to say this. He asked me, he was talking about not putting your job before your family. And I said, wait, hold on a minute. I said, well, wait a minute. I would put a certain type of job in front of my family. Yes, I would do it. He said, because he said something like, well, who would do that? And I said, well, I would. And yes, I would put a job in front of my family. But my family would welcome me doing that. What happened? Did I go off? Oh no, here it is. I was kind of being sarcastic in it. I don't literally mean neglecting my family. However, let's just say I have a family and a nice job opportunity came open where I could quadruple my salary, including, living my dream. I believe I could go to my family and say, hey, I'm going to be spending a little bit more time over here. I'm going to plant a seed and we're going to harvest it later. So I didn't want to get caught up in whether or not you would neglect your family, but for an opportunity, you wouldn't be putting your job in front of the family, but you would take advantage of the opportunity. And if it really is your family wouldn't even look at it like that. So, I was just trying to play devil's advocate in my own little way by saying, well, yes, I would, put an opportunity before my family in the form of a job. So, just want your take on that in terms of taking it out of context, and or how some people really do neglect their families or their priorities for a job. So, go.
Well, I do agree with you. I think people do it all the time. They may not necessarily think they're doing it, but they do it all the time. Put their jobs first, but before their families. But I think that most people do want to have that work-family balance, right? We do strive to do that, unless there's just some people are so career motivated that they won't even, that's their number one priority, and that's their business, right? You can't make them wrong or right for that, because sometimes when you meet those people, that's what their priority is, and they have family members that realize that is their priority, and they work around it. They may not want to be called out on it, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. So I think we all do it in certain ways, and we just have to find our own individual balance as to what things that we have to do and things that we want to do. Mm-hmm. Because, for example, my nephew plays soccer, and I try to be at all his games, and I normally am. But every now and then, I have a deadline or I'm behind and I can't go. Does that make me put my job before him? Yeah, it does happen. But am I at his 99% of his games? Pretty much. So we're going to have those situations where sometimes, depending on work-related responsibilities, deadlines, situation emergencies that come up, that may put us in a place that we might have to choose our job over our family. And we just hope that that's not the case majority of the time, but that's the exception that happens.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, yeah, but I like messing with him, because he said, the wife, and I was gonna go with my daughters, but I had to go to work. So I was just.
But you know what was interesting? The fact that you were messing with him and he responded, that just means to me that he's having some guilt, or maybe he's doing it more often than he wants to. Something else is going on that triggered that. Because if he was feeling secure, the fact that he does not put his job before his family, I feel he'd be like, boy, please.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, that's why we talk, and that's why I'm wired to throw a little water in the hot grease just to see if it'll sizzle a little bit. Not to disrespect him. I know he has great love for his family, and I was just messing with him, but it's just one of those things. And I'm glad I did say, and who knows, maybe he will think about it a little more. I'm sure he will, because I didn't tell the whole story. I kind of lit into him a little bit, and then that's when it got heated. I said, but I wasn't talking about you. So you know how I am. Anyhow,
I know exactly how you are. And I'm sure he knows how you are.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, that's why there was no love lost, because all he could do was laugh when I got him. He just kind of laughed about it, like to say, I don't even believe I fell for that. I let you pull my chain. And I was like, well, yeah, you did. So anyway, there we go. I kind of hate that, I got told something and then it didn't happen. Should I try her again, or should I let it go?
You said you guys exchanged phone numbers.
Well,
correct?
Well, yeah.
Okay, and you've called her twice.
Really, are you getting ready to lecture me? I'm excited. I wanna blow up her phone a little bit, because I kind of,
Well, I don't think but you want to blow up her phone? Why?
because I want her to be here on this line. I want to talk, and she's not here. And I think it would be
Right.
worth reaching out one more time. That's why.
Okay, then reach out if that's what you feel like doing.
What was your point? Why were you trying to grill me?
I wasn't trying to
Where
grill
were
you. I
you
just wanted to
going?
make sure that you don't want to make her wrong for not calling.
I'm not making her wrong. I'm just, whether she's wrong or not, I just don't like it. And I told you how I am. I like to tell people I'm going to do
Exactly,
stuff
but
and
that's
do it.
okay.
Well, that's all it is,
I
too.
got you.
Well, that's all. I just
But
want
did you want to express to her what she did to disappointing you?
indirectly, but not directly. I mean, it's not going.
What is that? Indirectly, but not directly. So you
I answered your question.
Want to say you told me you were going to follow through, and you did
And what
not.
if I do? So what? What if I do? Then what?
But that ain't your business.
I'm not making it my business.
That ain't your business. But you don't have to do that.
So do
You
I?
don't have to do that.
Yes or no? Do I try again, or do we just ride it out?
I already answered that for you.
Answer it again.
I think you let it go.
Okay, so then since you're my friend and I trust you, I'm just gonna let it go. So then let's talk about something else then. Since we only have a few minutes, and I was gonna let you go 15
well,
minutes.
Well, this is a really game for. Can we talk about? Can we talk about this a little more? It's the fact of this person letting you down.
All right, are you getting ready to give me some on the couch therapy right now? Are you trying to be slick?
You know what you want to call it? It's not that, but this person don't even know you, Travis.
Hold on a second.
So,
what is that I smell? Are you trying to reverse a role on me? What are you trying to do? I thought this was my live show. I thought I'm the one who's supposed to listen. So did you catch me in something? Are you getting ready to get me? I mean, I don't mind being got because I get people all the time. So go ahead, let's talk about it. I'm gonna lend myself to you for a moment. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just responding to you. You even said did you not express your disappointment, frustration, whatever you want to call it, for this person not
I did
being in place?
I did. That's what I did.
That's all I'm saying.
So what's your point?
My point is that those things are going to happen with people, especially people we don't.
I'm okay, but one more phone call is just, it would just make me feel good. That way, whenever I do talk to her again, I can really be like, I can let my attitude, be worth something. Because it's like, I did call you a few times. If you weren't going to do it, you shouldn't talk. You know what? I'll probably feel bad if something tragic happens. So I hope she's okay. Father God, in the name of Jesus, keep her, protect her, surround her. Give her what she needs and bring her home safe, Father. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen. So yeah, I guess I'll be a big boy and I'll leave it alone. We're talking anyway. We're doing all right.
So are the people listening to it, do they have anything to say?
Well, Robin just said something else. Let me see what she says. She says, as years go, they don't come again from experience. I say I missed the mark, and if I could do it over, family, I would give more time with my family. Now, okay, I'm going to address what she said. Did you hear what she said? Did you hear what I read? She said, if I could do it over, I would give more time with my family. Well, I'm going to serve notice to you. You can't do it over. So how about giving that time now? How about starting now and today? Why want to live in the past and say, I can't? Because you know what? I had somebody tell me today, I'm going to start a diet on Monday. Next week when I do something. I'm like, really? You know how many times I told myself that? That's why I'm talking junk to her. She told me she was going to start on Monday. I was like, wait a minute. Why don't you start today? So, I'm even addressing, this comment now that says if I had to do it all over, I do it. You know what? I'm just going to say you can. This is your do-over right now. Do what you would have done then. I guarantee you every penny you put in the bank will be a penny you have that you didn't have before. So keep putting pennies in the bank. Before you know it, you've got nickels and dimes and quarters and dollars. So don't wait till you get another chance. Do it with the chance you have. So she can't respond directly. If she does, I'll respond to her. That's just my response to what she said. Really?
Well, I think she was just expressing herself.
I get it, but I'm just
Oh,
expressing myself.
right. I got you.
Yeah, oh, yeah, okay. So,
I got you.
all right. You
But
were about to say
it's all
something
good.
else? Oh, no, you were about to get on my case. Or did we finish
No, I
that?
was just you. You said we moved on, and then you said you're going to read Robin's comment, and then you responded to Robin's comment. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then you talked about how that also came into the similar conversation you had earlier today with someone about them waiting till Monday to start a diet.
Yeah,
So,
I'm going to wait till next
um,
week.
yeah, but we've all done that. Some of us still do it. So I got it.
Yeah. So if you're watching, if you're listening, if you're paying attention, if somebody sent this to you, if you're watching it 10 years from now, thank you now for watching and listening. All we're doing is just talking. What are we talking about? We're talking about what you're hearing, what you're listening to, what someone's saying, what they're mean, how you're processing it, and what is the real truth. Are we hearing what we're listening to? Are we understanding what we're hearing? Do we need to talk about it some more? Do we talk about it when we're frustrated or aggravated? Do we talk about it when we think we understand but someone still has something to say? When do you let it go? That's what this is all about. Talking about it, talking through it, and knowing that you know before you let it go. Looks like another love TKO. Um, anyway, so if you'd like to chat about something, or if you have a scenario you just want to run by and you want to talk about it, I'd love to talk about it. You know, I'm despising not a small beginning. I'm not, a big YouTuber. And everybody that ever started anything kind of started probably the same way. I'm not trying to be big. I'm just trying to get better at what it is I believe I've been called to do. And that's just to kind of listen, analyze, pay attention, and even work on myself some more as I do all of that. So again, Travis Bridges 2 at AOL.com. Subject is call me. And in the body of your letter, just put your phone number and whatever you want to say about what you may want to talk about. Or if you just want to kick it, we can do that. My good friend has been with me. This is like, I'm not counting the shows. I think this is probably the third or fourth one. But you were there on the first one. And although you don't ever take my side, I appreciate you being close enough to where if I needed you, you'd be there for me. So I want to just say thank you again, and I appreciate you. Looks like I'm going to let it go early tonight, but I don't. I can't let 9 minutes slide. So, go.
Well, you're welcome. And I always enjoy talking to you. So it's always fun. I think you have a lot that people can really learn from, and even just not even just learning, just I mean, I think a lot of it is learning, but also it's just it can be fun too. And especially, I encourage everybody, if you have some topics or some information that you want to talk to him about. Travis has a vast array of topics that he can talk about, as well as just techniques and conversations. He's had some unbelievable
So wait, hold on a second. Your voice is
conversations,
getting lost in the
boy.
shuffle because you're trying to sound sexy. I don't think because I can't hear you. What are you
What?
complimenting me? What are you actually doing right
Absolutely
now?
complimenting you.
Well,
And I'm also
what
encouraging
exactly
you
are
to
you
come.
saying? Because I don't want to miss. You trying to sound all sexy. Speak up and say what you have to
Whatever.
say. Say what you mean and mean what you say.
Just come on, let's talk. Let's just talk. Talk. Send him an email. If something came up that you want to have a conversation with about it, he's the person to have a conversation with. That's all.
All right. So you're
Don't be
saying.
coming at me.
So if you were. So you're saying I may have some potential. I may be on to something.
Yes.
Have you have
Yes.
you you've known me for well over 10 years now. We're really close. Have you ever known me to be biased or in any kind of way? I mean, you can be honest. I mean, is it true? Is what I'm saying has any validity to it? Do I listen and analyze? Minus my beliefs and personal thoughts and feelings. Do I
I
do?
think that you do. I really do think that you do. And I think that I think it can be a breath of fresh air, um, especially for us that sometimes tend to talk a lot in or with our feelings, right?
Hmm.
So And also for those who really want to, in these days and times, a lot of us are always trying to be more authentic, be more real, be more true, and having those difficult conversations sometimes that might be appear to be difficult, but sometimes they're just not. Just, just they can be liberating. They can just be released from a lot of things. Just but sometimes we just need to get off our chest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think that you've come a long way, and I do think you have something to offer to folks in regards to saying what you need.
And, I just want to add, because we only have about 3 minutes left, I do want to say this. I guess one of the toughest things for me, in this venture, has to do with how many circumstances I hear where people don't care about the truth. That really, I'm going to need therapy on that. When you point out, what really is and what's going on, somehow or another, how I feel or how I think or what I believe or what it's supposed to be outweighs, what really is in so many situations. And it's hard to get past that unless you are mature, unless you've been fire baptized, unless you've been anointed by and being washed by the blood of the Lamb. You have to be able to be mature, in being able to put aside, those personal preferences, in order to get to the truth. So looks like I'm gonna put a pin on it and leave it right there, and that'll just be it for now.
All right, then.
So what you doing next Wednesday?
Probably listening to your show at 9 o'clock.
And would you talk to me if I get dumped on again, if I get put to the side, if I get blown off?
If I must, but I'm sure you can have other people that would love to have a conversation with you.
I'm hoping so eventually.
I don't want to monopolize things. I'm sorry?
I said I'm hoping so eventually. That people will appreciate it and want to hear what I have to say. There's a voice in my head that's saying nobody want to hear you. You ain't nobody. Those voices that that'll talk to you to try to discourage you.
Remember the gorillas, the parasites. That's what they're supposed to do, but you just got to keep doing it, right?
Yeah. Sunday night's going pretty good. I had a really good night Sunday night. I felt good. Man, something happened the week before. I had my gig, of course. And then I came in at the last minute. I didn't hook something back up, so I couldn't get it. And I figured out what it was right away, after the fact. But this past Sunday, man, I was smelling myself because I was feeling good. And I wasn't so worried about, technical. I was just playing from my heart. And as my mother used to say, play, son, play to the glory of God. I think I was doing that on Sunday. And sometimes, when you worry so much, you want to be free, you just let go. And then that's when you have some of the best successes, when you're not worried or stressed. So Sunday was pretty cool. And I'm going to go and watch that again because I enjoyed how I was feeling. So Sunday night's moving along. Wednesday night is, it's still, it's getting off the ground a little bit. But anyway, we've talked real good. I've got less than 2 minutes to go, so we're going to go ahead and get out. So I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Any closing thoughts, views, comments, suggestions, ideas, requests, complaints?
No, just keep at it.
I will.
And don't let the parasites or the gorillas win.
I know. All right. So be good.
Right.
I love you.
You too.
All right.
Anymore. Have a good night.
Tenfold.
Right. Bye-bye.
That was my impromptu guest. And she's there like 4 flat tires. We all down. So thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. That's going to do it for another edition of Swym, Pwym. What are we doing? We're talking. What are we talking about? Whatever you want to talk about. Whatever you need to talk about. It doesn't matter. Words are words. Conversations are conversations. Points are points. And they're all made by it's a combination of everything that makes a point. So examining all those things together to actually agree with that point or confirm that point is what communication and conversation is about. Somehow or another, I think I've been touched by an angel to get into that. So instead of running from it, I'm just coming online and talking about it. So if you're here with me now, if you're watching this 35 years from now, thank you for believing in what was placed in me. And here's hoping that maybe you'll have quite a few conversations that will last until you know that you know that you know, and that you get, if nothing else, get an understanding about what you're arguing, fussing, crying, or complaining about. With that being said, I'm going to see if this plays. If it does, fine. If not, I'll deal with it next week. Let's see, how do I do this? Thank you all so much for being with me. I don't have a closing. Oh, here it is, right here. Again, till the next time, find somebody you need to say I love you to. Don't just say it, but show it to them. Till next Wednesday and or next Sunday, you be good. Have a fantabulous week.